remember this day so clearly, like as if it was yesterday, because it was actually the first time that I watched football for the first. It was actually the first time I watched football. So my dad called me. He called me and said that I don't even know what brought up the discussion. We were discussing about JJ Okocha and Ronaldinho. So he called me and he said that I told him that I don't know Ronaldinho or Okocha. And I was about 11 that time. I was about 11 years old. So at that time, I did not know who Messi was or who Ronaldo was. Or I'd heard of them, but I didn't know which clubs they played for. So he called me and he showed me, my brother and I, showed us some clips of Okocha. And at one moment, I knew that I wanted to become a professional footballer because the skills of Okocha were so incredible. So he was one that introduced me to football. And fast forward like 5 years, he wants to stop me from playing football. He thinks I'm too focused on football. So ironic. The person that introduced you to football thinks you're now he thinks you're now too focused on football. So this video, the purpose is the purpose is so fast forward 5 years, and he didn't want me to play football. But after doing some of the tips I'm going to teach you today, I was able to convince him, not completely, but at least let him allow me to play freely without disturbing me. So today I'm going to be teaching you some of the tips and tricks that I used to kind of convince them to let me play. My mom was more of, she took the matter a little bit more lightly because she's free. But my dad, I am the firstborn again, so he wants to focus on my studies. So there are some reasons that they might not want you to become a professional. Number one is the high risk of becoming a professional. Obviously, we all know that to become a professional footballer is a high risk venture, and our parents want us to go for the least. They want us to go for the safest option. Yes, that's true. Let us go for the safest option. So that's a reason that they might not want you to become a professional. Some might have seen you play and maybe they believe that you're not good enough to become a pro. That's another reason why they might not want you to become a professional or to play football. Another reason is that they might have been brainwashed and think that studies and going to school is the only way to make it, that any other thing is not realistic enough. And they think that another reason, and one of the most obvious reasons that this reason is one of the most common reasons, is that your parents might think that football is going to distract you from your studies, and these days parents see studies as something very, very important. Sorry, I have a cold. So, and we've gone through some of the reasons why they might not want you to become professional. I'm going to try and explain how you can convince them to let you play, at least, even if they don't support you fully. At least if they see you playing, you'll not be too concerned about it. So number one is determination that you're going to become a professional footballer in your heart. So you have to just be determined personally. Because if you're not determined, they will not see that determination in you to make it, and so they will not believe in you. If you don't believe in yourself, no one can believe in you. So most of you just complain and make mouths that your parents don't want to become professional footballers. But the thing is that you self, you're not acting in a way that signifies that you want to become a professional footballer. And I've seen this in many, many people. You have to show them. Like me, my dad is just going to barge in my room. Sometimes he cannot enter my room unannounced, and you see me doing some workouts, some exercises, and you just smirk and go back. So even when I don't expect him to come, I'm just doing my own thing on my own, and he will just catch me in the action. So you have to be determined, and your determination is going to show, and they might just say that this boy wants to make it pro. Let's leave him alone. Then you have to have several talks and discussions. So severally, back in the day, I used to just send random messages to my dad. We'll be in the same house, so I'll send him a message on articles about professional footballers. So different tactics to talk about football and let him know politely, not rudely. So just different talks. We'll argue slightly. You cannot make it as a professional. You'll be talking about the disadvantages. I'll be talking about the advantages. So just several talks with them that will let them know that you are serious about this your dream. Then another way, and there's no how, sometimes it's going to lead to an argument. I can't count the amount of times I fought with my dad over just this simple topic that we're discussing today. There's no how you can avoid arguments. And if you just try and avoid arguments, you're not doing well enough. If there are no arguments at all, you're not doing a good job at trying to convince them. And nothing I've observed is all you need to do is convince just one parent to all you need to do is convince one parent to agree with you, and the rest is easy. If one parent can agree with you, if one of your parents can agree with you, then it's just a little bit that easier. Like my mom now, she's the lighter one for me. So sometimes when I want to go to training and I don't have money for transport, I'll just go and meet her, and she help me talk to my dad that I'm going for training, blah blah blah. So since she has agreed, you don't want to be the mean one. So you have to agree. Then don't give them a reason to not let you play. Don't give them a reason. Some of you just be rude and you don't do your chores. You not do what you're supposed to do, and you expect that they will allow you to play. Like, why? You're giving them several reasons. Okay, you don't do what you're supposed to do. You go and meet them. I want to go and play. I want to go and train. You like, when I told you to do this, did you do it? When I told you to do this, did you do it? No. So why would you're giving them reasons not to allow you to play? And again, some of you, like, you don't take your studies. Okay, obviously, me too. Nobody wants, like, we don't want to read. But because of football I want to play, we have to at least get good grades. So our parents know that football is not affecting our grades. You understand? So some of the tactics you can use to get good grades is: number one, destroy your self-limiting beliefs about studies. Like, you might think that you're not smart enough, or you're just lazy. Like me, I realized that GS1, when I was in GS1 and GS2, I was a bit lazy and I don't just want to read. But few years later, I was starting to realize, when I started doing research on all these self-limiting beliefs, I started to realize that it was caused by what one of my French teachers told me when I was back in primary 2. She told me that I was lazy, and I was still around 8 that time, and it really pained me. That day I cried. So I came to realize that was still affecting me. So I destroyed that self-limiting belief, and I was determined that I was going to at least pass well enough so that I could play football. I could convince my parents to allow me to play football. And the thing is that I managed to get a prize on prize giving day. And after that moment, they were confident in my ability in my studies. So they knew that football was not going to disturb my studies. And I knew how to manage my time. That's one thing that I've heard my daddy say once that made me happy. He's mentioned that I know how to manage my time very well. And that's why it's allowing me to play football. So another way, understanding is greater than cramming. That's what some of you don't understand. You wait till the last day of exam and you start cramming. It's not just fun. Like, that's why you don't even think that learning is fun. Some of those things that they teach us, they're actually fun. Like, for example, physics, the way things work, just understanding them is greater than cramming. When you understand them, after like 5 years, 6 years, you still be able to recall and explain to someone about it. The thing is that we're in school already. So just you cannot, whether you study or you don't study, you cannot get out of that school. It's compulsory for you to be in the school. So just make it worthwhile and study. Then solving as much past questions as possible. That's like cheat code to success. Like if for example you not study throughout the whole term and just had like 2 or 3 days to study, I would use 2 out of those 3 days to solve past questions. Then I'll use 1 of those days to read, because most times questions usually repeat themselves. So if you can solve past questions, then you'll be good to go. Then deep work and frequent breaks. The thing is that some of us have very short attention spans, and it's bad for our work. We cannot focus for long periods of time without getting distracted. So a technique that I used when I was in secondary school was 25 minutes studying, 5 minutes break. So 25 minutes of intense focused studying, where I'd read it, I would ask myself questions, and I will explain to myself during that 25 minutes. Then 5 minutes I'll do something fun, like I could go and play football for 5 minutes, just touch around with the ball, do it. Sure, that 5 minutes should be fun. Then you go back 25 minutes again. So I'll do that for like 2 hours, for a 2-hour block. And if at the end of the day, to top it all off, at the end of the day, if you don't make it, it's not your parents' fault. If you don't make it, it's not your parents' fault. It's your fault. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. You are responsible for your life. If you don't make it, it's your fault. I'm sorry to say. I'm telling myself as well, if I don't make it, it's my fault. It's not my parents' fault. All responsibility is on you and me. So thanks for watching. I hope the video was useful. If you want to get my course on becoming the best footballer in your school in 30 days, click the link in the description. Mwah.